What's going on, everyone? So the San Antonio Spurs are post-draft looking into the offseason. It's like, okay, well, what do they need? Right? They really need some size on the inside, right? Some shooting, solve your other wing position. Ideally, a versatile wing that can slot in and play multiple positions. I don't know, a guy like Guerschon Yabusele, just saying, right? He's also a guy that has a lot of familiarity with Victor Wembanyama. He's a guy that played on the French national team together, and he really kind of came onto the scene. He had an excellent season last year, just like on the surface, really kind of started to come into his own, right? Play defense, works hard, hustles, showed the ability to stretch the floor. I mean, basically do a little bit of everything out there on the basketball court. Again, he has familiarity. He's 29 years old. He'll be 30 kind of, quarter way through the season in December. So he's a veteran guy, although he hasn't had a ton of playing years, but he's a guy that's older, more mature, understands kind of his role, what he's doing, what is expected of him on the basketball court. He's a guy that's not going to take away. He's a guy that can start for you, come off the bench. I mean, I would probably start him based on the team that you have right now, right? And you might actually realistically be able to sign him because you might have, even if there are several teams that might be interested in him, you have the Victor Wembanyama connection, right? So Wemby just pick up, hey, what's going on, and get it worked out. But talking about a guy, he's not a true 7-footer. He's 6'8", right? But he's a guy that can play the center position, did it for the Sixers. He's a guy that can slot in, play the 4 or the 5, which is very valuable. Right? Guy that you can slot in either position. I still think you'd need to go get another true big, but I look at kind of, Yabusele, you can have him slot in at the 4, slot in the backup at, as the 5, right? So like Wemby goes to the big, you could go a small ball unit with Yabusele at the 5 and kind of have that versatility. But 6'8", 7-foot wings or 7'1" wingspan, he's 265 pounds. So he's big, physical, strong, can get after it, right? He's got some athleticism to him. Not like a hyper athlete or anything like that, but he's a guy that, again, can make an impact on both sides of the basketball, score the basketball, rebound, spread the floor. I love the idea of him slotted alongside a Victor Wembanyama, right? I also don't hate the idea of going and getting another center to slot Wemby at the 4 and have Wemby be in the 4. But even if you did that, Yabusele off the bench as like that, backup 4, backup 5 on occasion, and then, get another big and then kind of have just this rotation of guys where, they can all play multiple positions, right? Like you have your center, but Wemby could play your 5, Wemby could play your 4, Yabusele could play your 5, Yabusele could play your 4, right? Kind of have that mix and match. And then also you have the type of wings you have, right? Like Harrison Barnes could play, if you end up keeping him, he could play 3 through 4 for you, right? You look at Carter Bryant, who the Spurs just drafted, right? He can play your 3 or 4, right? There's even thoughts that maybe he could even slot in at your 2 on occasion, right? So again, you want to have as much versatility and kind of movable chess pieces as possible, right? You want to be able to kind of position however you need a position. Going up against a big team, boom, here's 2 big guys. Right, you want to play small ball? Oh, don't worry about it. We got you. We'll keep Wemby at the 5, and boom, here's this versatile, athletic, switchable wing depth roster. Okay, there you go. Okay, well, what else? Right, like whatever the assignment for the day is. Right, especially once you get to the playoffs, being able to match and mask whatever it is that your issues are, that'd be great. Right, like it's one of the reasons why the Thunder went and got Isaiah Hartenstein, so they can run double bigs and have 2 guys that can play and at least match up size and lengthwise. Obviously, Chet Holmgren wants to be more perimeter-oriented than an interior guy, but that's also why he's that big wrecking ball. I like Yabusele because he's a guy that can play either. Right? He can be that kind of wrecking ball on the inside, but also be that floor spacer, kind of play the more finesse game. Right? And even though he is a veteran, like I said, he played as many games this year, or this year, as he did his entire career, right? The only other NBA stint he had was the 2017 through 2019 season, so basically when he was drafted by Boston, or brought in by Boston, in which he played 74 games total in 2 years, and then was out of the league for 5 years, came back at 29 years old, and then played 70 games. And in those 70 games, he started 43 of them, so started more than half. A lot of that was just Sixers can't stay healthy, right? Like they couldn't stay healthy to save their lives. But 27.1 points, or 27.1 minutes per game, 8 field goal attempts per game, 50% from the floor, 3-point range, shot 38% from 3-point range on 4 attempts. It's good if he can maintain that. Again, there is a little bit of a risk that I think is worth talking about because this last year was the only year we've seen him be that level of production. And there are guys, keep in mind, which is why I don't think I'd love to bring him on, but you cannot overpay him. Because if he isn't able to replicate that, now you're stuck. And that's the worst thing you want to be. Right? Now you got to pay somebody to take him off your hands. And you don't want that. Right? So you got to get him for the right price. That's the biggest key for me. But again, we've seen a lot of guys, and he was fantastic last year. I'm going to continue to go through kind of the numbers here in a moment. But again, we've seen a lot of guys over the history of the league have incredible seasons, even better than Yabusele did, right? Guys that have had crazy runs and have never been able to replicate it, have never been able to be that guy again. I mean, Chandler Parsons is probably one of the best examples that comes to mind. He had one 6-game playoff run, and Houston ends up giving him max money. It's just even Chandler Parsons jokes about it, right? That it was just it was crazy ridiculous, but he wasn't going to turn that down. I'm not saying that the Spurs are going to give Yabusele max money or anything like that, but again, you don't want to pay, if you don't want to pay him $20 million a year, right? Because yes, he had one good season, very good season, but you got to think of the opportunity that he had to play that season, right? With basically the entire Sixers team being out half the year, right? There's circumstances that went into him being able to play that role, right? What does he look like if he's actually on a team, playing a specific role with consistency every night? Right? Again, I'm not saying he won't be great. I'm not saying he won't continue to get better and grow. I'm just saying you gotta keep in mind, right? He might be fantastic, but he also might not be what we expect him to be because of the circumstances in Philly. But I digress. Again, 38% from 3-point range on 3.9 attempts. 2-point range, shot 61.6% on 4 attempts. EFG of 59.3% from the floor. Free throw shooting on 2 attempts, 72.5%. So it was even a good free throw shooter. Just under 6 rebounds per game, including 2 offensive rebounds per game. 2 assists, a steal, half a block, and 11 points per game. You look at his per 36. Per 36 doesn't tell you everything, but it kind of gives you an idea what would he look like as a full-time starter, potentially. He would be 15 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and half a block per game is what he'd be in, as a full-time starter. So maybe if you slot him in at the 4, maybe give you close to that. I'm not saying he's going to necessarily be exactly that, but he can be in the range. Can he be close? Can he be a 12-6 guy with 2 assists, a steal, and a block, right? That'd be fine. Again, not everyone's going to be a superstar. And you got to keep in mind, Yabusele, best case scenario, is going to be your 4th or 5th option at best, right? Because it's not going to be an option over Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, right? Probably not going to be an option over Castle and Dylan Harper. So at best, he's probably your 5th option. Right? Now, that doesn't mean that he might be your 4th option in your starting lineup, right? Depending on how it plays out. But I really like the idea of Yabusele. I think if you can get Guerschon, bring him in, let him kind of play a role. Like I said, he has that familiarity with Wemby. They're very comfortable. They've played alongside each other very successfully, which also could help Yabusele be even better because he might be a little more comfortable. He might understand, okay, this is what Wemby wants to do. And Yabusele just seems like a Spurs type of guy. Hardworking, hard-nosed, right? Can do a little bit of everything. You need me to make some plays, I can make some plays. You need me to rebound, I can rebound. You need me to block shot. Whatever you need me to do, I can plug in and play. I can be that guy. Right? And he's got good size, good strength, good physicality where you can slot him in at the 4. And with his ability to stretch the floor, he's not going to clog the paint for a guy like a De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox can get to the basket, apply that rim pressure, kick out to the shooter and a Yabusele. But also, we want to go throw him at the 5 in a 5, small ball unit, have him be kind of your center. You can do that and have him with Harrison Barnes and Carter Bryant and De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. And you're actually pretty big, right? For a small ball unit, talking 2 6'8" guys plus another, 6'8", 265 guy. And then with the wingspan, you have a lot of size, a lot of length. I'm just saying, could be pretty good. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. I also not. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.